Hello and welcome! My name is Jocelyn and today I thought we would talk about some new makeup releases. I like to call my series Thoughts on Drops. It is most definitely inspired by Samantha March's Will I Buy It series, so I will make sure to leave her channel linked down below so you can check it out. But yes, today we are going to be talking about some new makeup releases. There's a lot out right now or coming out right now. Also, if you're familiar with my channel, you probably know that I've got a bunch of cats and often you'll see a few of them roaming around in the background. Well, today we are oh so lucky to have all 4 of them in my room today. Psst. Hence cat. So hopefully you'll see more than just Luna, who is hanging out right up here today, roaming around in the back if we are lucky. So without further ado though, let's go ahead and get started. Basically everything that we're going to be talking about today is found on TrendMood because they are on top of the game and posting about all of the new makeup releases. Now, I don't have a lot of money to be spending on really any makeup right now, so I'm probably not going to be picking up maybe any of this, at least not right now, but I thought I would give you my thoughts and whether or not I'm even interested in them, whether I think they're good releases, not good releases, that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I want to talk about is the new Colourpop and BretmanRock collection. So it looks like he collaborated with Colourpop to create 2 different eyeshadow palettes. One is called, I think, the wet eyeshadow palette, and then also the lit eyeshadow palette. Lit is obviously the warm toned, wet is obviously the cool toned palette. And then he's also got some lip products, some glitters, and it looks like a blush in each of those respective collections. Now, immediately, I'm not going to pick anything up from this collection, but if I were, the blue palette did make me do a double take, especially that, I want to say periwinkle blue in the top row, the second one over. It's a really pretty blue, but I just, the pull isn't really there. I do love Colourpop. I don't really have feelings one way or another towards BretmanRock, but the collection itself just isn't something that speaks to me, so I'm not going to pick it up. Do I think that they're a good release? I think the wet palette probably is a good release. We are seeing a decent amount of cool toned palettes nowadays. We are seeing a lot still warm tone palettes, so I don't think that the warm tone one is really anything new. The glitters, I don't really remember Colourpop ever coming out with glitters before, so I don't see those being a bad thing. It'll be interesting to see what the formula is like and how well that they work. And the lip products look fine, nothing that I personally would be interested in, but I do think it's kind of cool that he went with the 2 different tones in collection, so the warm tone and the, I was gonna say the wet tone, and the cool toned. I do appreciate that, but personally I'm not gonna pick anything up. Speaking of brand and influencer collaborations, we do have the James Charles Morphe palette. If you are familiar with my channel, you might know that I'm not a fan of those gigantic Morphe palettes. With that being said, this palette made me do probably a triple take. It's gorgeous. I do really like the way that it's separated out. So the first 2 rows and kind of the middle row, you get your everyday shades, your transition shades, your easy to use shades, and then the bottom 2 rows you have your colorful, fun rainbow shades, and some of those even look very easy to use, very like a neutral colorful. So I think this palette looks beautiful. I did watch a little bit of James's video on his collection with Morphe, and he did mention that these shadows, because they're so pigmented, well, they're basically a pressed pigment, which means they're a little more challenging to work with, and although I think that would be fine for me, I just don't know if I would pick this up. I mean, I don't have a truly colorful palette. It's really, this one's really tough for me because I feel like it's something I might enjoy having in my collection. I don't like big palettes though, so I don't know. This is a little more expensive than the traditional large palettes. I think it's $39, so I don't think it's outrageous for the amount of shades you get, and the reviews so far have been pretty good. It'll be interesting to see what the reviews are like when it gets in the hand of the smaller creators. You know, the people that I don't want to say are more trustworthy, but we are more inclined to trust because they definitely don't have a bias one way or another. It'll be interesting to see what all those reviews say. Now, I'm not gonna buy this online. If I were to buy it, I would wait until 1, more reviews came out, and 2, it showed up in Ulta, if it shows up in Ulta, so I can see it in person, I can swatch it, because if I'm gonna buy a big palette from Morphe again, I want to see it in person. I want to know that it's worth it for me. We'll have to see. As of right now, I think this is a smart release. I think this is a really beautiful, really well put together palette. I think it was smart of them to get rid of their old colorful palette before bringing this one out, because I think that created a lot of hype for a rainbow colorful palette from Morphe, because their other one, I think it was called the 35B maybe, did so well. Very interested in this. Now the next one includes a palette, but it is a full collection. Now there are a few things that I am crazy for. Makeup is one of them, obviously, hence the channel, but the second one is Disney. Anything Disney. I'm a big Disney nerd. We're going to Disneyland in a month. Dose of Colors is collaborating with Disney to come out with a Mickey Mouse collection in honor of Mickey's 90th birthday. And the packaging is so cute. So it looks like there are lipsticks in this collection, liquid lipsticks in this collection, and an eyeshadow palette. Now, when I look at the eyeshadow palette, it looks really unique. So the palette looks really, really interesting. I really like it. I don't know how much it's supposed to be. Let me see if I can find a price on it. All right, so I can't find a price on this eyeshadow palette. It looks beautiful. The highlight shade does look really pretty and like it would work really well for me. The lipsticks, I don't think I'm interested in, but the liquid lipsticks, I'm a huge fan of the Dose of Color liquid lipsticks, and there's one or maybe 2 in there that look interesting. I don't know if I would pick it up. It's probably limited edition. Let's see. It doesn't say on the post that I'm looking at that it's limited edition, but I would assume that it is because it's a collaboration, and I'm not in a place right now where I really want to buy any eyeshadow because I have a lot of eyeshadow that I'm trying to use. So I probably won't end up picking this up, but I really like it. I think it's really well put together. It looks very Mickey Mouse-ish. The packaging is really cute. And again, I don't know the price on it. I mean, for some reason, I feel like it might be like $39-ish. Maybe that's, but I honestly have no idea. So there are my thoughts on that one. Besame Cosmetics is coming out with a whole Peter Pan collection, speaking of Disney, and oof, the packaging on this one is gorgeous. I'm looking just really at the eyeshadow palette. The eyeshadow palette comes with 8 shades, a couple greens, a blue, a yellow, and kind of like a rusty orange, a purple, and a pink shade. The packaging is beautiful. The shades look pretty cool. Actually, I'm looking at some of the swatches now. I mean, the shades look cool. They look unique. Now that I'm looking actually at the swatches a little closer, the green in there and the blue and the greens and the one blue, so 3 out of the 8 shades look really pretty, but that's not enough for me to buy it. And I want to say this is kind of expensive. This one is, okay, $48. So yeah, that's pretty expensive for only 8 shades. The packaging looks absolutely beautiful. I really dig it. It's like a plastic compact, and on the inside you have the outline of a mermaid in there, so it's really cute. I'm not gonna pick anything up in this collection. I was interested in the eyeshadow palette originally, but then when I saw the shades inside, I was kind of like, meh, maybe not. And the more I look at it, the more I'm like, yeah, if I only like 3 out of the 8 shades, it's definitely not worth $48. Let's move on to another colorful eyeshadow palette. I feel like there's a lot of colorful eyeshadows that are coming out right now. The next one is by Tarte. We're used to a lot of neutral, easy to use, easy to wear shadows, it feels like, from Tarte. That something like this, which is the Tarte Pro Remix Palette, which has really pretty packaging. It's like a paint splatter packaging, which is so pretty. It's like a dark with colorful paint splatters. So the packaging is really cute on this. I love that you get a giant mirror in there. It's modeled after their other Tarte Pro eyeshadow, so you get all of the square pans and then the 4 like metallic or special shades on the side of it that are in a circle pan. Okay, so there are a lot of shades in here that look really pretty, but aside from the packaging, not enough of the shades really call to me. I mean, there's again a couple blue, a couple green shades in there that look really pretty, but other than that, it's just a lot of things that I already have in my collection and don't really need another of. I think it's really cool that they came out with something unique to them, because again, they don't really have anything like this in their collection. I don't know if this is limited edition or if it's permanent. It doesn't look like it says on this particular post. I think it might be cool if this was permanent, depending on how well it does and how good the formula is. I think it's good for the brand to have come out with something a little more unique. I know a lot of people were hoping that Tarte kind of branched out a little bit from their usual kind of boring, I mean, not boring to me, I enjoy my neutral shades, but a lot of people wanted to see something different. Tarte delivered, so I think that's really cool, but I just personally am not interested in it. Another eyeshadow palette. So this is the Dominique Cosmetics, so the Kristen Dominique brand, her new palette, Berries and Cream. So when I think of Berries and Cream, the shadows reflected in this palette are exactly what I think of. I really appreciate that she truly stuck with berries, berry tones or similar in this palette. So there's that. It's beautiful. The shades are beautiful. How much are these palettes? $44, so not a bad price, I don't think. It looks like she's going with a different pan style than her lemonade and latte palettes. I really like the way she's doing this. So she came out with her latte palettes, which is like her neutral shades, and then her lemonade palette, which got some mixed reviews, but it was kind of going along with that lemonade craze that was happening at the time. And now Berries and Cream, I think this is a really good addition to her brand. I'm not drawn to it. I think it's beautiful, like if I actually look at it, but it's not something that I feel like I need in my collection. So I really don't, I mean, I'm not gonna make myself want something that I don't want, you know, just because I think it's beautiful. I can appreciate something without wanting it in my collection. So I think this is a really good launch for her brand. I think it looks like a beautiful palette. I hope that it performs like the latte was said to have performed, so that people, you know, enjoy it. It works well, it does well, but it's not something I'll be adding to my collection. So it seems like the wave right now is small palettes in terms of what the consumers want. There's a lot of people that I've heard recently that really like smaller palettes, not, you know, Morphe size palettes or big palettes. They want a palette that has a color theme that they can look at and come up with a few different really good solid looks out of, that it's really easy to use, really easy to get creative with, that kind of thing. And I agree, I really like smaller palettes. They're easy to store, they're easy to use, they're fun to use. I really like small palettes. So Urban Decay got the memo, and they have come out with 3 on the run, so not born to run, on the go palettes, and they're supposed to be modeled off of their Born to Run palette, which is the much bigger palette that did really well, I think it's last summer. So it looks like there's 3 different eyeshadow palettes that they've come out with. They have the warm toned, which looks really pretty. They have, it's like a neutral cool toned with a pop of purple, and then they have a neutral warm toned with a pop of blue. Out of all 3 of them, the warm toned one, the red one, is the one that I would be most interested in. And like, really, it is a really pretty palette. When I first looked at these, I was like, nah, no, pass. But now that I'm like actually looking at that red palette, I kind of like it. The other 2, it's an easy hard pass for me. I have no interest in the other 2, but that top one looks really pretty, and I've heard nothing really but good reviews on the Born to Run palette. So if this is the same formula, I'll be interested in picking it up. There's no price on these as of right now that I can see, so it doesn't look like there's any price on these yet, but I am quite interested in that the red palette, the red packaged palette. So it'll be interesting to see how much these are. If they're like $20, maybe I'd be interested in picking one of these up at some point. There's a good chance these are between $20 and $32 maybe. I mean, I hope not. I'm hoping for the lower end of that, but we'll have to see. Moving on to Too Faced and another eyeshadow palette. Okay, all right, here, let's talk about it. So this is the Too Faced Pretty Rich palette, and the first time I looked at this, I was like, what brand is this? And it didn't take me long to look at it and then go, nah, those shades, there's nothing about those shades. There's only, well, okay, there's one shade in there. It's the kind of purpley glitter shade. It looks like it's Diamond Glitterati. Diamond Glitterati, that's what it is. And that one looks really pretty, but that's like the only one in there that I'm remotely truly interested in. And I think, again, there's no price on this one, so I have no idea how much it is. The packaging looks a little childish. I'm sure the shadows probably perform well. It's just, I just literally have no interest in this. All right, and the last thing we're gonna talk about today is not a palette. Thank God. It is a foundation. Now this is kind of old news a little bit, but I haven't talked about it yet, so I thought I would talk about it. It is the new-ish Colourpop foundation stick. So this is, it looks like they came out with 30 shades. It is part of their no filter line. So they have the no filter foundation, the no filter pressed powder, loose powder, and now a stick. I'm really interested in this. I'm a big fan of trying foundations out. There are some stick foundations. Okay, one stick foundation that I've used, and I like the way that you apply them. So I'm interested in trying this out. I have heard that they run a little yellow, and I'm more of a neutral toned to red toned kind of person, so I don't know how well these will work for me, but I'm willing to give them a shot, and I'm excited to pick one of these up whenever I place another Colourpop order, which won't be anytime soon. I typically only buy from Colourpop when there's enough stuff for me to get free shipping, and then I kind of lump everything in that I've been interested in. Very interested in this. I haven't heard too many things about it yet, but I like to try things for myself. I'm not a huge fan of the no filter foundation, just the liquid one. It's okay, but it's not my favorite, so I'm interested to see how well the stick foundation works for me. Whew. So those are all of the new releases that I wanted to talk about today. Let me know if you are interested in any of these or what your thoughts on any of these drops are. I'm very interested to know what you think, if any of these are good releases, any of these are maybe poor releases, if you are super interested in picking any of these up. Are any of them going on your Christmas wish list? Let me know down below. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe for more content from me, don't forget to do so before you go. All buttons are down below, and I think that's everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.